The church in South Africa used to be a very significant institution. Now it is a parade of liars, false prophets, and sex mongers. The church in this country did some of the greatest things for this country that have ever been. And they've forgotten that, and they have too occupied trying to squeeze money out of people, cozy up to politicians, and not do the things on the ground. In the past, the church in South Africa worked on educational development, on mission schools like Lovedale, Adams College, and Fort Hare, and all the big boys' schools that you see playing rugby every Saturday on television. Those were started by Christian people, many of them. Educated many prominent African leaders as well, and provided formal education before government schools ever did. The church in South Africa used to build healthcare services. Christian missions established hospitals and clinics across rural areas where there's a desperate need today, with institutions like McCord Hospital in Durban becoming pillars of healthcare. The church in South Africa used to preserve the languages. Missionaries documented and preserved indigenous languages, creating written forms and dictionaries for languages like isiXhosa and isiZulu and all the others. This is something the church did. What is the church of today doing? During the apartheid days, there was a strong push by the church in anti-apartheid activism. Church leaders like Desmond Tutu, Alan Busak, and Baz Naudé played crucial roles in fighting apartheid through religious platforms, using the facilities, the people, and the ideas of the church, the doctrines of the church, to actually advocate for people's rights. Where are the churches speaking up for children who are drowning in pit latrines, who are starving every single day, and for people who are being murdered at a clip of 50 people per day in this country? How are they involved now? They basically try to please ANC leaders. Where are the literacy programs that churches used to run? This is during a crisis of education in this country where most of the people leaving school cannot read, cannot do maths, and cannot write. The church has developed agricultural programs, establishing agricultural training centers. Where's the church on this? What are they teaching people, or are they too busy teaching them how to give money to the churches? Or are the church leaders fighting each other for prominence, for position, and to build their brands? Where's the social welfare that churches used to provide? Crucial social welfare, establishing orphanages, homes for the elderly, and feeding schemes. As a matter of fact, social grants should fall away, and organizations like churches and charities should be the ones picking up the slack. Where's the music development and funding of the arts? Church hymns were merged into traditional African music, creating unique South African musical styles. Why do you think South African choirs constantly win Grammys, are renowned around the world, keep musicians earning money and touring for years? Where's the publishing in our country? Churches used to publish books, all sorts of materials at that. The South African church now has just become another political player. They're not above the fray or below it. They just want the same status as ANC politicians while the country burns around them. Where's the political organization of churches, providing platforms for different points of view to organize against the wrong in this country instead of saying nothing and coming only on TV to give half-hearted attempts at opposing the government? Not full-throated condemnations of the vipers and the snakes that run this country. Why aren't the churches building vocational training centers? Where are they teaching carpentry, coding, tailoring, printing, and many other things? Has the church lost its mind and its relevance? Have they forgotten what they're supposed to be here in this world as salt of the earth?
We have a new course available for our boys. It's for boys between the ages of 10 and 18. It's called the Men of the Bible course, Manhood, Masculinity, and Becoming a Man. We take the boys through 12 stories of men from the Bible, pulling out negative lessons, positive lessons, and then one major lesson. We round off each lesson with notable points on doctrine and theology. We need our young men to become men.
Where's the cross-cultural exchange? Why aren't they the ones despising the hatred of other people and standing up against BEE, saying this hasn't worked, this has not brought right justice? Because that's what the church is supposed to be. Things are supposed to be made right. Have no doubt about that. The church is supposed to stand for that. But when things like BEE carry on, that's not making things right. That's just a money-making scheme for vipers?
You're a demon.
Where's the legal advocacy? Where's the urban development done by the churches in the past, where church buildings became community centers around which communities could be built of people who had jobs, who had growing families, and who could use the church as a place to gather and carry out community programs? The church needs to be building peace. During the transition, they did that. During apartheid, they did that. They're letting those in the MK be the biggest voice around how South Africans should treat each other.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Churches used to train leaders in this country, community leaders who could run their communities and get them organized. Why aren't the churches doing that? Training people to organize people to pick up those papers, to fix their own problems, and to stop marching in useless service delivery protests. Where's the justice and where are the churches? Or are they too busy building their brands? Instead of, yes, churches, obviously, hospitals, clinics, libraries, museums, community centers, schools. The South African churches have forgotten what is important, and many churches have become just like the filthy commies or the filthy money-grabbing politicians. They've become just like the vipers. Whitewashed tombs, the lot of them. A saying, we do not want a church that will move with the world. We want a church that will move the world. G.K. Chesterton. I recommend South African churches stop it. Wake up and do what is right. The case is closed. The church needs to go back to playing its part in this country as they have for many years in building this great place. Everyone just needs to wake up.
We have a new course available for our boys. It's for boys between the ages of 10 and 18. It's called the Men of the Bible course. Manhood, Masculinity, and Becoming a Man. We take the boys through 12 stories of men from the Bible, pulling out negative lessons, positive lessons, and then one major lesson. We round off each lesson with notable points on doctrine and theology. We need our young men to become men.
Nkosi, Nkosi Sikelel, Nkosi Sikelel, Sikelel, Iafrika,
Thank you for listening. If you dare, buy us a coffee. The link is in the description.